A powerful assertion from Abbas Araghchi, the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed to enemies, and America's own fleet does not dare to enter. The statement signals a sharp escalation in strategic messaging, positioning Iran's control over one of the world's most critical maritime choke points at the center of the conflict narrative.
Iran's authority in another region is the Strait of Hormuz. After 10 years, they finally forced us to show our authority in the region in this waterway, the Strait of Hormuz, and prove it to the world. They couldn't believe it. They thought Iran was bluffing. They thought Iran lacked the courage to do such a thing. But we did it powerfully, and they mobilized all their strength to stop it and failed. They even resorted to other countries, even resorting to those they themselves consider enemies, asking them to come and help open this waterway, and no one welcomed it because it is simply impossible. When America's own fleet does not dare to enter the strait, how does it expect the fleets of other countries, the naval forces of other countries, to approach?
Araghchi claims the United States has failed to achieve its primary war objectives, including rapid military success and regime change in Tehran. He asserts Iran's response has demonstrated a decisive deterrence capability, warning regional countries to distance themselves from Washington, while emphasizing that Iran's security posture cannot be challenged under sustained military pressure.
The strategic power you boasted about has turned into a strategic failure. The claimant of global superpower status, if it could have freed itself from this predicament, would have done so by now. Don't call your defeat an agreement. The era of your promises is over. Today there are two fronts in the world, right and wrong, and every freedom seeker cannot be deceived by your media waves.
Tehran maintains there are no direct negotiations with the United States, dismissing back-channel messages as non-binding. At the same time, Iran projects a calibrated strategy in Hormuz, restricting access to adversaries while allowing safe passage for friendly nations, reinforcing both control and selectivity in a region now openly described as an active war zone.
Let me state right here that, in our view, the Strait of Hormuz is not completely closed. It is closed, naturally, only to our enemies. We are in a state of war. The region is a war zone. There is no reason to allow the ships of our enemies and their allies to pass through. But it is open for the rest. Of course, it is open for them. Ships usually avoid it due to the existing insecurity. Some of their insurance companies do not cover war insurance, so they do not come through themselves. And it is interesting that many of these countries, meaning many of the ships, their owners, or the countries that own them, contacted us and requested that we secure their safe passage through the strait. And for some of these countries that are our friends, or for whatever reason, we decided to do so anyway. Our armed forces provided this safe passage.
The broader narrative frames the conflict as one driven beyond bilateral tensions, with Iran asserting the war has been shaped by regional dynamics and external alignments. Meanwhile, analysts point to a war of attrition, highlighting sustained drone and missile deployments and raising concerns over the long-term strain on air defense systems across the region.
The level of your conflicts has reached the stage of negotiating with yourself. Neither will you see any news of your investments in the region, nor will you see the previous price of energy and oil, until you understand that stability in the region is guaranteed by the powerful hand of our armed forces. Stability through power.
Iran has officially rejected Donald Trump's ceasefire proposal, calling it a deceptive diplomatic maneuver masking battlefield fatigue. Tehran has issued a 5-point ultimatum, demanding an end to U.S. actions, compensation for damages, and full sovereignty over Hormuz. With negotiations stalled, the focus shifts to endurance, as both sides brace for a prolonged confrontation over a critical global energy corridor.
we explicitly announce that no situation will return to normal until it is our will. This will happen when the thought of action against the Iranian nation is completely erased from your dirty minds. Our first and last word from the very beginning has been, is and will be this. No one like us will stand alongside someone like you, neither now nor at any other time.
The art of the deal has hit a wall of Persian resistance. Iran has officially torched Donald Trump's ceasefire push, labeling the White House's back-channel diplomacy as nothing more than a deceptive trap. Despite a flurry of regional mediators, Tehran's message is blunt. Talks under pressure are invalid, illogical, and dead on arrival. In Tehran's eyes, Washington isn't seeking peace. It's seeking an exit strategy to save face. Insider sources claim the US is masking battlefield exhaustion with loud media threats. Having been burned by what they call failed negotiation cycles in the past, Iran refuses to let a ceasefire become a smokescreen for the next American strike. The script has flipped. Iran is no longer just reacting. It is defining the endgame. Officials are adamant. The war doesn't end when Trump says so. It ends when Iran's strategic map is complete. A mere pause in fighting is no longer on the table. Tehran is now playing for a total shift in the regional balance of power. Tehran has laid down a 5-point ultimatum that raises the stakes to a fever pitch. First, an immediate total halt to all US aggression and targeted assassinations. Second, ironclad, objective guarantees that this war cannot be rebooted. And third, full, unconditional compensation for every cent of war damage inflicted on Iranian soil. The demands don't stop at the border. Fourth, the war must end on all fronts, covering every member of the axis of resistance across the region. And the ultimate deal breaker? Fifth, the world must recognize Iran's absolute sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, turning the world's most vital oil artery into a permanent Iranian fortress. The gauntlet has been thrown. Iran is betting it can outlast the political clock in Washington, declaring they, and they alone, will decide when the guns go silent. With negotiations frozen and defense lines hardened, the path to peace has never looked more like a road to a prolonged global confrontation.